being in some serious trouble with an extremely squeaky wheel.
I'm a squeaky wheel, Kevin.
Huh?
He's talking about me, audience.
Oh, I'm not.
I'm going to tell y'all, he always says that to me. Always, Hank, you're putting these things out, you're saying this and that. What are your solutions? What are your solutions?
Right. But, I mean, let's face it. I mean, over the course of these years, you know that there's a great deal of growth, and we have a mutual respect thing going on. You just think
I agree with. I do agree with you.
Yeah.
I do agree with you. I must, you know.
And it works. That's what we tell people whenever they say, "Well, how do you take that?" And somebody asks Hank, "Well, how do you take that?" And you say, "Hey, it works." 927-1100 is the number to call, and we were...
Man, where they at 927-1100? You know,
everybody's waiting until
they listen. I got friends texting me right now on my phone. Call on in. You know, let us know what's going on. You know, it's a great week. This has been beautiful. The last couple of days have been beautiful.
Especially after having 3 days of horror. I mean, it was just terrible. I mean, it was
we're hoping for election day in the last couple of days. So, you know, we see a lot of work out there. Like Kevin said, that a lot of the candidates are out in the community and trying to put in their last minutes of work.
Yep.
I've seen some candidates that I hadn't seen in months, or that I didn't even know that they were still running because they hadn't reached out to us. I haven't heard them on other shows. I wish they had, so we can actually make sure that people know that they're running. And
because familiarity really does help us. I mean, if we are familiar with you, you know, it helps us when we get phone calls from your various camps and your supporters, you know, because we are comfortable with the fact that, you know, we have done our vetting. And know that you know you're who you are and an upstanding person.
And you know what? I didn't think about you know I've ran and I've been working for voter education, voter registration, and I've been doing voter registration, and I understand how it works. So Kevin, you know me, and you yourself, you know, people are leaning on your decisions and waiting to hear your views on who should be and who shouldn't be. And I'd like to think that I got a nice following of people that are influenced by my decision of what the things that I'm talking about from the perspective and views that I'm coming from. I would like to think that I have that type of influence within my community, and I haven't chosen any one way or the other, you know, about that because I'm still open and trying to figure out what's going on, who really wants it and who's going to do the work for the people at the end of the day. And I would like to throw my leverage towards somebody who's going to do the work.
Let's take this call from Atlantic City. Hey, it's somebody who's actually in this race on Tuesday. George Tibbet, he's councilman at large in the city of Atlantic City. Good evening, councilman, and welcome to the
Councilman Tibbet.
What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, good evening. I just want to thank you for informing the public. You guys are, you know, one of the top shows now out there to get the information out in Atlantic City. I want to thank you guys for the hard work that you do on getting the subject out, never taking sides and always sticking to the issues. And just want to thank you guys. You guys do a great job.
Thank you, sir. And,
thank you.
And I want you to, if you can, stay tuned for the announcement at 9:30 because you play a role in this because you made some things extremely difficult for me, Councilman. I like your commitment to especially our fiscal responsibility, and I think more people should know about that. But I digress.
I personally wanted to say about the Councilman Tibbet. I like that you've been more forefront in vocal the last 4 years. I didn't think you was as vocal during the Langford campaign as you could have been. And what I do know that you have a wealth of knowledge and that you always should be sharing and putting that wealth of knowledge to work, no matter who's mayor.
That's right.
Well, you always watch out for that quiet guy, too. You get those guys that shoot their mouth off and nothing comes out.
Yeah.
The guys working behind the scenes, working their asses off, and getting the job done. I mean, you just look at the last council meeting, you know, I was so upset, you know, with the state. Here you go with the rolling chairs, and you have people out there that have invested their entire life in their business with the rolling chairs. Now, council didn't fail to act on it. Council needed more information. Not only that, the people that lives are involved, the other two owners that did not have any part in it, were getting brought in and getting their voices heard before we made that final decision that was going to affect their life. And for Tim Cunningham, where on one hand, he's too goddamn busy to make a decision on releasing the luxury tax money that helps the small homeowners get low interest rate loans to fix Cunningham isn't too busy to stick his nose in the roller chairs where he knows nothing about it, and then makes another decision. I told him, I got on them, and I do not feel bad. I do not respect what they're doing. Just because they're nice does not mean you have to respect them, because they're in your house, they're taking the food off your table, they create the problems, and then want to sit up there and pound on their chest like they solve the problem.
Absolutely.
No, what is the problem?
I agree with you.
$90 million a year.
I agree with you 100%, Councilman, and you are among some that tried to make sure that was called to the attention of our residents. But again, the state was the big bully, and they said, I don't care what you say, I don't care what your constituents say, we're going to do this. And I'm just glad that you're continuing to fight against that.
Councilman, what happens when you disagree with the state and you put up some legislation and they say we don't want that legislation up? Do you still get to vote no or yes against that particular information, or challenge them, or they just says that's it?
Well, we can still vote on it, but they got final say right now. I don't know the legality of this whole bill that they put through for this takeover, and hopefully the police and fire are going to be successful in federal court, because let's face it, they're not going nowhere in state court, but you got to go through the motions to lose in state court, and then hopefully, when they file their federal lawsuit, just like down in Miami, the state thought they could do, the city of Miami thought they could do whatever they wanted to these police and fire, and they ended up losing and owing a fortune to them. And I believe that's what's going to happen here. That's why you hear me at every single council meeting say, who is responsible when the police and fire and other unions win in federal court? Who is responsible for the damages that the state has caused?
And it should be the people that are the precipitators of the actual action that they are trying to fight against.
Councilman, do you vote against when you disagree with this particular situation? Did you vote no, or you didn't get a chance to vote?
Listen, we didn't get a chance to vote on this one. He won't prove it. Again, it's like it seems to be a pattern now. They picked I don't want to say it's dumb, but they picked the greatest councilman up there with the trash. What did they do? They used Jesse Kurtz. Oh, Jesse Kurtz had the information. And what do? They approve it one day before the council meeting to privatize the trash. And we all know the numbers don't work, but we also know who's it affects. It affects the African-American community the most. So they don't care. And they do what they want. Now, this week they come back, and who's it affect again? The minorities and people that push those roller chairs, the second chance people that are trying to get their lives together. Well, you do it one day before a council meeting. You don't give us the courtesy of 24 hours to vote one way or the other and then make an action. Do you realize both times they did it on a Tuesday when the council meeting was on a Wednesday?
And let me just tell you, Councilman, I think that besides trying to scratch our head to figure out why they did it,
telling me.
We know why they did it, and there could be something systematic going on with some kind of major plan, because it just seems to me that if they would continue to slap you in the face, and I'm talking about the council, sooner or later you're going to slap back, and I just don't understand how come we have to continue to take this stuff from the state. We're not in that bad a situation, especially when you start talking about addressing our lack of a room tax and luxury tax and other things that the state has taken away from here. That, yes, we made some commitments, but I'm telling you that we could negotiate all kinds of commitments and do, but for some reason, all of a sudden, this one is in concrete and we can't get our room tax and our hotel tax and all of these other things back. It just doesn't make sense to me, sir.
Do you realize if we got that money back, it would pay for the entire police, fire, 911 call center there for the emergency calls, and the beach patrol, and probably the trash. I'm not sure how much of the trash, but most of the trash. If we just got our luxury and our room tax, if we got all the parking tax, if we got all that back, it would pay for all of it. Why wouldn't you give the city back their money like that? Why would you let us continue to fail? Because we're overburdened with the cost of tourism. Now, every other municipality that has tourism, they have those room taxes and everything because of the added pressure on the system of the police, the fire, the public works. So you add it because of the tourists, and you let the tourists pay for the extra help that's needed because of them.
Yes.
In Atlantic City, we don't get that.
No, we don't.
They're totally, everybody he wants to say, oh, the casinos are our neighbors. No, they're not. We voted back in the 70s to give them the pleasure of doing business in our town. They're not our partners.
That's right.
They're making a fortune off of the ocean front. This is our town. And for some reason, now they're our partners. They're making all the money while the taxpayers are paying for everything. This pilot, I mean, look who's been against the pilot. Mo Delgado, George Civic, and Frank Gilliam. We're against it when it wasn't popular. We're still against it. The $74 million loan. Civic, Delgado, Gilliam, Chang. You know, it's the same four guys. Listen, we can all say we fought against the state. We can all say all kinds of crazy things. But let's look at the vote. Let's look at the votes, how they went down. Now, don't forget, it was the water company, very important, the water company. When Mayor Langford was in there, and he says, under the current state statutes, the water company can only give us, I believe it was like $600,000 a year. They couldn't give us no more. But if we bring it under in-house, we can get all of that extra revenue to help the taxpayers. Well, then it sounded attractive. But then, on first reading, you vote for it, and it sounded attractive. But in between first and second reading, you still have a chance to do research, and then you find out more about it.
That's right.
You know what? If we bring it back in, it makes it easier for the state to try and keep it from us. So let's not bring it back in. That's the reason you have two readings on an ordinance. There's 2 weeks in between to gather more information that you may not have had on the first reading.
Absolutely, and it also gives you a chance to have constituent input. You know, people are out there and they have opinions and they want to have them considered and before you make a decision like that. Hey, listen, Councilman, we wish you all the luck on Tuesday.
Call in the Kevin Hall Show program.
We appreciate it. We have to take a break. We'll be back with much more of the Kevin Hall Show program in just a few moments right here on
News Talk 1400 WOND.
You sounded like the mayor when you did that.
I know, I was thinking about that.
I was thinking.
Is this to the top of the hour? WOND Pleasantville.